The Anatomy of Atrocity. Why dictators resort to grotesque cruelty from Tewodros to Abiy. History is littered with the names of despots who moved beyond simple political repression into the realm of the monstrous. From the public executions of antiquity to the industrial-scale horrors of the 20th century, we are often left asking the same chilling question: why? When a leader has absolute power, when the law, the military, and the media are extensions of their own will, why do they feel the need to commit acts that are not just violent, but fundamentally grotesque? To understand the psychology of the super dictator, we have to look past the political veneer and into the mechanics of absolute control. Ruthless successive outlaws of Abyssinian warlords. We focus on the most ruthless successive outlaws of Abyssinian warlords from Tewodros II to Yohannes IV, and Menelik II emerged in the mid-19th century, who become the partitioners of the scramble for Africa, not victims out of the entire Africa singularly. Although no African representative was participated in the infamous scramble for African resources in Berlin in 1880–1885, there were 14 greedy autocratic monarchical representatives, including the United States, who attended the conferences and signed the General Act of the Berlin Conferences unanimously, to invading Africa in a single fell swoop, as never before except the United States. For the half a devil and half Abyssinian emerged local chieftains in the region, and absence empty chair number 15 was reserved. The Berlin Conferences marked the beginning of the dependent settler colonial Abyssinian Empire in the northeast Africa. The temple was set up for an unprecedented active invasion of Africa by all European colonists and the cruelest of all Abyssinia warlord colonists, Tewodros II, Yohannes IV and Menelik II, armed with European firearms and ammunition to their teeth that enabled them to conquer the great Oromo nation after 4 centuries of relentless attempts for the first time. On the battlefield, it is always the efficiency of the killing machine one carries that triumphs. The anomaly of the scramble for Africa. Abyssinia proper conquered, occupied an era 5 to 6 times larger and richer than the nominal 𝐏𝐲 proper, if at all it existed in real. Henceforth all half devil and half 𝐏𝐲, or Haitianized assimilated successive tyrants from 𝐂𝐯𝐢𝐧𝐠 to the current personal dictator, Abiy Ahmed, ruled with iron fist of one of the most backward settler colonial empires in the world, now teetering on the brink. 1. The strategy of performative terror. For a dictator, violence is rarely just about eliminating an enemy. It is about communication. Grotesque acts serve as a high-volume broadcast to the populace. By making a punishment visible, humiliating, or unnecessarily cruel, the dictator is sending a message. I do not just have the power to end your life. I have the power to redefine your existence and your dignity. When a regime employs torture or grotesque public displays, they are aiming to shatter the psychological boundaries of the citizenry. If you can make people fear not just death, but the manner of death, you have achieved total psychological submission. 2. The feedback loop of paranoia. Dictatorships are inherently unstable. Because there is no democratic process to vent grievances, the dictator must live in a state of hypervigilance. They are surrounded by sycophants whom they know are lying to them, plotting against them, or waiting for them to die. This paranoia creates a siege mentality. The dictator begins to dehumanize everyone around them, viewing subordinates and citizens alike as potential threats. When you stop viewing humans as people and start viewing them as insects, viruses, or obstacles, the moral barriers against grotesque acts simply evaporate. Cruelty becomes a prophylactic measure, a way to cleanse the state of perceived rot. 3. The narcissistic void. Many historians and psychologists have noted that extreme dictators often suffer from severe malignant narcissism. They do not view themselves as servants of the state, but as the state itself. In this distorted worldview, any challenge to the dictator's authority is not a disagreement, it is a cosmic offense. When someone challenges a person with a God complex, the punishment must match the scale of the perceived sin. Grotesque violence becomes a way to reassert their godhood. By inflicting suffering, they prove they have total dominion over the physical world. 4. The erosion of the inner circle. A dictator cannot commit atrocities alone. They rely on an inner circle of enforcers. Over time, these regimes create environments where cruelty is a requirement for advancement. When a dictator commits a grotesque act, they are often testing the loyalty of their subordinates. By forcing generals or officials to participate in or witness monstrosities, the dictator creates blood brothers. The subordinates become complicit in the crimes, making them unable to leave or betray the leader without facing prosecution themselves. The cruelty is a binding agent of the regime's survival. 5. The dehumanization of the other. Finally, grotesque violence is almost always preceded by intense propaganda. Before any atrocity, the dictator must convince the enforcers and the public that the victims are subhuman. Whether based on ethnicity, religion, or political ideology, the process of othering makes the grotesque feel like a necessity, even a virtue, rather than a crime. When the victim is no longer considered a fellow human, the act of violence ceases to be a human tragedy in the eyes of the perpetrator and becomes a sanitation of society. A warning for the future. The grotesque acts of super-dictators are not the signs of a madman acting in a vacuum. They are often calculated, rationalized, and systematic tools of power. Understanding this is vital. If we view these dictators as merely crazy, we underestimate the danger they pose. We must recognize that beneath the grotesque spectacles lies a cold, strategic intent to destroy the very idea of human rights. Studying these atrocities isn't just about looking into the dark corners of history. It's about recognizing the warning signs when human dignity is being systematically stripped away in the present. Absolute power does not just corrupt. It demands a total sacrifice of the humanity of both the victim and the perpetrator. Ensuring that no individual ever holds enough power to act out these impulses is the only real protection against the return of the monster. First and foremost, thank you. Whether you've lingered on a single line, bookmarked an entire post, or simply skimmed through the headlines, your curiosity is the true engine behind every piece we create. Your time, attention, and the occasional aha moment you share in the comments are the quiet applause that tells us we're on the right track. In short, you're not just a reader, you're a co-author of this growing community, and we're grateful for every glance, every share, and every thoughtful reply. If you've found value in what you've read, we'd love to keep the conversation going. Subscribing to our channel ensures you won't miss future insights, tips, or the occasional behind-the-scenes glimpse that we reserve for our most engaged audience. And if something resonated with you, please share button. Your friends, colleagues, or anyone else who could benefit from the information will thank you as much as we do. Finally, don't let the dialogue end here. Drop a comment, ask a question, or share your own experience. Your voice not only enriches the discussion, but also helps shape the content we produce next. Thank you for being part of this journey. Let's keep learning, growing, and connecting together.